And finally, new rule, if you find yourself prefacing more than half the things you say with, "I'm not a racist, but," you're probably a racist. I mean, this was the biggest, I think, landslide since the 30s. I think the Republicans picked up 63 seats. Wow. I haven't seen Republicans so happy about taking seats since they made Rosa Parks stand up.
I cracked my head open like a walnut.
Right.
And 2 minutes later, I was in an ambulance going to UCLA. And you know what? That started...
2 minutes later, you were in an ambulance?
2.5.
Must have been wow, must have been a white neighborhood. When you went to dinner with Bill O'Reilly in Harlem, he famously was surprised that people in a black restaurant were not screaming, "Could I have some more motherfucking iced tea?" and also that no dog fighting broke out after dinner. A great speech. This tells you something. 100 million people tuned in to watch that speech.
Did.
When Obama made his BP speech, 32 million people
I didn't realize that.
tuned in, which tells you that it's a lot harder for a black man to get ratings in prime time. It really is. Because he wants them to like him so badly. Conservatives, stop worrying. He can't be a Kenyan. He's a golden retriever. He's done everything he possibly could to appease you, short of using bleach. But the House Government Reform Committee, that's the people in charge, they charged Eric Holder with contempt, the official charge being Attorney General while black. But consider this. Perry claims the rock that bore the camp's name was painted over back in the mid-'80s, but others say it wasn't painted over, and even if it was still visible until recently. Huh. Overtly racist bullshit, thinly painted over. Honestly, could anyone have written a better metaphor for the modern Republican Party? Big news, of course, in the Republican ranks. There is a new, I say this every week, but there is a new frontrunner, Herman Cain. Herman Cain. The Republican establishment is freaking out because their token black guy is in the lead now. They never expect. This is like an episode of Star Trek where the black guy beams down to the planet and lives. I will put up $1 million against one that he will not be the Republican nominee. $1 million to 1. I will give you $1 million. If you think that the Republicans are going to have an election with 2 black guys against each other, that they don't have a choice to vote for a white man in the general election. We've been trying this year. We've had 2 Republicans on most of the shows. Tonight we didn't do that. We're trying. I'm just saying, look, we got the rising star of the Democratic Party. It's stacked against you. I'm just telling you, I apologize from the beginning.
I'm always happy to be your piñata.
And then, and then I'm going to bring out a black scientist, so it's really a tough night for you. Well, these Republicans, they will not give credit. You know, they talked about this yesterday. They gave credit to the rebels and to the British and to the French, would not mention the president. It was like they were on a game show and the password was Obama. They're like the banks. They will not give a black man credit. He was using this picture to look for women to cheat with on Craigslist. And some of them, it turned out, were black transvestites. Yes, he was that rare Republican who judged a woman not by the color of her skin, but by the blackness of her penis. Let me put your unpopularity in context for you. You're a Republican and you're polling behind a black guy. Was it because he was so new? I mean, he had only been a senator for a short amount of time. I mean, even a lot of Democrats thought he was too green, and a lot of Republicans thought he was too black. Did you hear about Cory Booker, frequent guest here on the show, the mayor of Newark? Cory Booker last night personally rescued a woman from a burning building. Or as Fox News reported it, black man loots house, steals white woman. Look, Republicans, I know this picture from Election Day 2008 scared you. If these guys weren't trying to intimidate voters, why did they show up at that polling place deliberately black?
Yeah, good point.
Loved it.
And now it's 2 years later, and that picture still scares you. Look, that guy who drove up from Orange County just ran out. But it's time you understood something. Every black person scares you. Unless they look like Urkel, talk like Colin Powell, and wear Bill Cosby sweaters, you fill your adult diaper. Republicans must quit pretending that their new voter ID laws have anything to do with stopping fraudulent voting, and instead start passing laws where if poor black people want to vote, they must first jump through an actual hoop. Well, let me ask about the census, because they released some numbers this week, and I know the teabaggers, for some reason, yes, the teabaggers, they freak out about the census, even though it's right in the Constitution that they claim to cherish so much. But it did prove them right about one thing. The country is being overrun by Mexicans. And which is only fair, since we stole half of it from the Mexicans. But this is kind of was the eye-opener. 50 million Hispanics in America now. That's a sixth of the country. The biggest minority, bigger than
By far.
African Americans, right? 1 in 4 kids. And when the teabagger is talking about taking our country back, this is really what they're talking about. It's not about economics. It's about this. This was also, by the way, the week the Oscar nominations came out. Of course, the difference between the State of the Union and the Oscars is that the State of the Union, there's a speaking role for a black guy. What are you booing me for? I'm only mentioning this because, you know, now they have 10 nominations. There was not one for a black person in actor, actress, supporting actress, writer, director. The closest they came to a dark-skinned nominee was the potato in Toy Story. You know, a lot of Republicans were disappointed in Clint Eastwood. Not his speech, they loved that. They were disappointed he came into town and didn't shoot any Mexicans. That's what they were. But in neighboring Arizona, they had a dust storm that was 2 miles high. Look at this. It looks like something out of a movie. 50 miles wide. Visibility in Arizona, they said, was so bad that police were hassling white people. Arizona, home of Sheriff Joe, who thinks Obama's birth certificate is a fake because it has a space for mother and a space for father, but none for owner. Look at that. Right to the President of the United States. Now, Jan Brewer says she regrets the confrontation, but these are the kind of problems that arise when you permit Negroes to read. She also said, this is, I swear to God, this is her quote. Today she said, or yesterday, she was interviewed about this. She said she felt a little bit threatened. Really? On the tarmac in broad daylight? By the... What was he going to do? Deck her or buy the house next door? I mean, everybody got what they wanted this week. Liberals got a home run State of the Union from the President of the United States. And conservatives got Heidi Klum back from Seal. So, but Hope Hicks, she admitted, it's Sunday, she said she admitted she told white lies for Trump. Boy, that's Trump for you. Even the lies have to be white. Of course, Newt Gingrich, any opportunity he's looking for to stick the knife into Mitt Romney. He jumped on Romney's gaffe. He said he does care about poor people. He loves the very poor. In fact, under his plan, poor black people would be the first ones he's sending up to the moon colony. It's raining out there, and also it's Friday the 13th. Oh, they love it here. Remember, if a black cat crosses your path, it is bad luck. Except in Florida, where you're allowed to shoot it. But he doesn't like black people, is what I'm getting from this guy.
I don't know what...
I feel like he doesn't.
I don't know what's in his... I don't know what's in his head, but what happened...
Well, what's in his voice is the word coon. We heard that on tape. And then he shot a black kid. So maybe I'm leaping to conclusion.
In the stimulus bill, this administration had $7 billion for states to go out and increase their unemployment insurance recipients and other recipients of welfare. So, and as a lot
but he's just going to send you the check. It does kind of imply that Obama's walking through the ghetto, handing out shoeboxes full of cash to his black friends. It does. It's got it in there. The most devastating attack today. This came from Rick Santorum. I'm not making this up. He told an audience in South Carolina that Mitt Romney was just a, quote, paler shade of what we have in the White House now. And the guy in the back of the room stood up and said, I thought that was the whole point. All right, we got a great show.